Alright, hello everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Ted Toke, and we got some World of Tanks. This is console edition. I'm on the Xbox with it. As you can see, we got a little bit of movement out of the team for once. You take a look at this mini-map here as we shoot towards this destroyer that we're pushing towards. You can see there's a lot of participation. It just happens to be the enemies at this current moment. You can see how they're pushing our team one at a time in that corner, and we have people sitting in the opposite side of the map corner doing absolutely nothing. Now, you can say that's a loss for 15 people in this 30 participant event, this 30-person participant event. But, that's really not a loss for a lot of us. When we're going out there and playing the game, like, as you can see, those players that died in that southeast corner, they had to actually give up some sort of fight, right? Now, I've been pushing as far as I've been pushing. Maybe I could have pushed further or faster, but the reality is I went as far as I went with it. Now, as you can see, we're gonna try and dig into these couple of enemies here. We got a couple teammates that have been pushing with us as far as we've pushed and as fast as we've pushed, which is still further and faster than anybody else on the team that went that side of the map. However, now we're at least almost rotated around the entirety of the map, and we're able to take on this big group that maybe even have been split up or pinched into the corner in probably low elevation, low ground positions, to where they're not going to have as big of an advantage in the fight as they would or could. Looks like I'm not going to get that much support with that enemy tank, so I figured why not just give him the cover that he's already got with wasting the smoke. Now I pull up, get up in his face, try to use my armor. Wasn't gonna happen, pushed a little bit too much that time. I didn't push up strategically. I could see I kind of just pushed up. The match was over to me, probably. I realized while I was playing, and I wasn't gonna waste time. Like, I'm fast forwarding it right now, probably 300% after I died up to that point right there. And that was probably an extra 2 minutes that I would have spent there. And obviously I did spend there because you could see I waited to see the rewards board. But that would be time that I could be practicing with a whole nother tank, or a tank just alike to the tank that I just tried to practice with. And I wouldn't be there wasting time waiting on other players to do something so that I could, try to do something that I think I could try to do at that point. Here we are again, as I do, showing up to the front lines, not looking for somebody to do my job for me, but looking to see what kind of job I can do today. Here we are in this match, Leopard 2A5 in action. We first get some deflection off our original initial peak. We decide to drop back clearly. You can see a lot of the team there hiding up. Oh, I don't want to say hiding. Okay, let me rephrase that. Hunkering, we'll say. They'll probably like that one. Probably should have led with that one even. Look at them hunkering up on the hill right there. Now, as you can see from my participation alone, we have about half of an enemy team over here looking to scalp and scam points off of this east side of the river, overwatching, right? What's our team gonna do? Sure, just as normal, we'll just casually sit there while the enemies do the same thing, except get what they want out of this situation. Because how many of our team are actually peeking over that hill and overwatching, if they are even in Overwatch on this map? I'm asking. Okay, if you know, you know. Anyways, moving on. Now, as you can see, I'm deciding to push back towards the team rather than push towards the enemies. this time. We see one teammate down there I can assist. I land an auto-locked shot onto that enemy, assisting that tank that I decided to try to assist. Taking some of the attention of the enemy there, we give the enemy some deflection that time. Now, you could say I've been in quite, like, I haven't been in tremendous danger, but I've definitely not been safe on the Overwatch hill like most people will try to play at. And, you know, I'm not doing too bad here, you know, let's be honest about it. We got some deflection, we got a little bit of damage, you know, we got some spots, because we're actually going out there and trying to play the game. Alright, now after I killed some time there, clearly wasting time so that tank that missiled me and landed the damaging shot would probably likely forget about me, and I can move on for a moment, at least until I get my bearings in position. But, as usual, I just started shooting instead of repositioning, blowing the stealth of the operation there. And guess what? Now I'm getting shot at by about 2 to 3 different angles, you can see, with 2 to 3 different tanks on each angle. If it wasn't for this mound of whatever material that is consisting of, there to my front left of my tank, as well as that one, I'm going to try to rotate around and pick off this tank pushing up the hill. There you go, we land one there. Try to line another one up, make these count, and of course I bounce it. Yep, that's what all that training work practice is for, you know. That's why you get into the battles. You're not going to learn that as Overwatch, you're just going to learn that shit happens like you already know, or don't know, and you'll learn, or not, you know. Here we go, little descend down the cliff side there. Try to use this carcass as cover for now, because we know the Overwatch is going to try to dig into us as well. We get a deflection, so it looks like we missed our shot there, but we are getting some deflection, so they're not finishing us as fast as they could have. And there it is, we died after all that, and our team's still sitting up on that hill. You know, and you really don't even have to ask yourself why. If you actually play this game, you know why they're sitting back there. If you don't play this game, you'll realize real quick through the gameplay that I share, good games and bad games. You know, there's games where I do absolutely nothing and get first place. There's games where I do a whole lot and get 15th place. And there's games where I do a whole lot and get first place, and a whole little and get 15th place. So, you know, I'm only showing you guys certain things right now because that's the layout of that's the foundation that I'm laying, you know? Not every game's gonna be good. You know, you guys are gonna see me lose. You're gonna see me get destroyed in game. That's part of the game. If you play it, you know that's part of the game. Alright, now that we've wasted a little bit more time before we can talk about this next match, we got another Leopard 2A5 match. If you couldn't tell, it's definitely one of my preferred tanks. Alright, we finally land a shot right there. We're up to 2,530 deflection after having 11, I think it was 1,100 and something deflection collected. So, a missile of the enemy's wasted. You know, that's pretty beneficial because that could have hurt myself or another teammate. Plus the other 1,100 that we deflected previously before that missile. Looks like we just missed that sliver of a shot. That could have definitely been a good shot. Pushing up, there we go. I like this pushing up right here with this one heavy. That one heavy can watch the right, but mostly those tanks to the right of that one heavy, that one heavy join could have been watching those, and that one heavy could have pushed that with me. Showing up late, getting the exposure shot from those tanks there that weren't even choosing to assist us, but could have the whole time. But because me and that heavy pushed up, they allow to not be attended to is the same way, you know? That tank sitting there in cover could have been shooting at them. They could have been losing their fight until we showed up, maybe. You know, that's the thing about teamwork. You know, you're not going to really know how important it is getting help, genuine help, when you're benefiting off of people not getting help, or you're the one, you know, not actually helping, but getting the credit for helping. Because nobody gets the help, you know, it's all a bunch of self-interested, you know, selfishly motivated antics that you guys commit to, you know. That's why I say the game's dead. You're not gonna get genuine playing. Like what you're seeing right now, even though it's just tanks pushing a tank or two or whatever, that's as close as you'll see to actual battles in this game. And that's why I say things like, you know, if these players didn't have Alamos and or dog pals, they wouldn't have anything close to any battle experience, you know, but because they got stuff like that, Alamos and dog pals, they actually have something that they can consider a battlefield. And this isn't a battlefield. Look at this. This is the most interaction we've had. As far as tank versus tank goes, the rest of it has just been off at the driving range, you know. Oh, let me practice hitting from the white team and see how good I do today. You know, I don't want to do that. That's why you'll never see me as the Overwatch. You'll constantly see, even if it's gonna risk me more of my health bar than I would like to risk, I'm still gonna do it because I'm not gonna be one of them tanks who want to pretend to have helped, but actually didn't help at all, and even might have been one of the, you know, viewably biggest helpers, you know? But then you'll have people that, you know, absolutely did nothing but can't deny the positive impact that they made to the outcome. That's the kind of difference in actual players that some people are and some people aren't. Alright, I had some stuff we could say about that, but we'll get into the rewards breakdowns later on. Now, obviously I'm not a professional and I'm not a well-educated man, but I'm not an idiot. And I've understood how the world works, and I'm learning how the world works for a long time, so. Alright, now right there I'd like to first say that if the team showed up, this could have been different. I wouldn't be stopped right here and getting shot, okay? I wouldn't have had to rotate all the way back there to the middle of the beach for waiting for one light tank to say, oh yeah, I'll make a push. And look, it's this one medium. The only other support that tank has is a few tanks up on top of the steps, right? You got that destroyer, you got a heavy, and you got a medium. They're really not even in good angles, besides, like I said, self-interested, selfishly motivated playstyles. There we go, look, see how easy this is when you can actually put the pressure on them? Even though I lost my driver, crashed right there, should be dead. Boom, look at that. I'm not dead. I didn't lose my tank that time, and you that might actually be losers, you have a teammate still. Whether you think I'm a good one or not, you know, I can sit here and say I can sit here and believe that you're a terrible teammate, but I still appreciate the fact that you're on my team, even if you are a bad teammate. Because that's just gonna make it that much easier for me to be the good teammate. Yeah, some people say, well, you just go out there and die. But how many times have you seen somebody go out there and die, get their kills worth, and on top of that, they actually get assists and their deflection of health bars worth by the time they die, maybe even as the first one dead. And those other players think that they're better than them? You had 14 people play for you. I didn't. I played for 14 other players.